Okay, if you've made it this far, thank you for watching all of my videos and you have gotten a lot of information about basic nutrition. So now what? As I talked in the last video, something that is very, very important is to focus on whole foods. In addition to that, if you want to lose body fat, not feel hungry, make different choices about your food, then you choose whole foods and you always think about protein, protein, protein. The body needs protein. It needs protein to regenerate itself. It needs protein to repair itself. It needs protein to grow inside, to grow outside, everything. It's good for hair. It's good for skin. It's good for bones. It's good for muscle. Protein, protein, protein. We do not eat enough protein, specifically women. Most women are not eating enough protein. Very few processed packaged foods include protein. Most protein comes from animal sources. Protein is an expensive ingredient. Big food companies will tend to include fat and carbohydrates, which are more readily available and a lot cheaper to buy and process. They will include those in their packaged food more than protein. So if somebody is eating primarily packaged food, they're eating primarily processed food, they are definitely not getting enough protein. Everyone should be eating a minimum of 100 grams of protein per day. That means 3 meals a day is 30 grams of protein per meal, plus a snack that has protein in it. For me, a high protein food has to have a minimum of 10 grams of protein per serving. Protein is popular. Protein is known to be good for health, so protein is used in marketing. I have seen a lot of packaged foods that say that they are high in protein, but when you look at the back, it has 4 grams of protein, 5 grams of protein, 6 grams of protein. Nuts are considered a high protein food. 14 grams of fat, 6 grams of protein. Not a high protein food. It has protein in it, but it is a high fat food. It is not a high protein food. So when you are planning your meals, plan around protein. At least 30 grams of protein, snacks a minimum of 10 grams of protein. When you are thinking about what you are going to eat for the day, you should think about protein first. So another example of this is pizza. Pizza's delicious. I love pizza. If you are eating a slice of pepperoni pizza, that has protein in it, but protein is not the main macronutrient of a piece of pepperoni pizza. Pepperoni, we've already covered, goes in the sausage category. Higher in fat than it is in protein. Cheese has protein in it, but mozzarella cheese actually has a lower amount of protein and a higher amount of fat. And then we have the crust, which is primarily carbohydrates. So a piece of pizza, for example, is going to be very calorically dense, and it's going to be calorically dense in the macronutrients that will be converted into stored energy. So if you're going to get a frozen pizza, or if you're going to order a pizza from a pizza place, make sure you're adding chicken to it, or maybe ground beef, even though at most pizza places are probably using 80-20, so 80% protein, 20% fat, ground beef, so there will be high in fat, but focus on protein. So if you really want pizza, just have some chicken breast with it. Have the chicken breast on the side. Every meal should be centered around protein. It's going to keep you fuller. Your body is going to know what to do with it, and you will feel better, I promise. The other thing that really helped me was the mantra of food is for fuel. So anytime I was reaching for food, if I was reaching for a snack, if I was reaching for some kind of guilty pleasure, I would repeat this mantra, food is for fuel. And I would ask myself, am I eating this because it's going to fuel my body? Or am I eating this because I'm bored? Am I eating this because, man, I just really want some ice cream? Am I eating this because I'm sad, because I'm tired? Why am I eating this? This would also go for if I was adding anything. So if I sat down in a restaurant and they bring me the bread basket, am I eating the bread because this is what I came to the restaurant for? This is what I want to eat to fuel my body? Or am I eating the bread because it's just there? So anytime I ate, I would always think, okay, food is for fuel. Am I using this to fuel my body? And how is it fueling my body? So remember, protein is the nutrient that your body uses to build, repair muscles. I know I'm a broken record, but this is the primary fuel. So if I am hungry and I am going to go for that snack, again, I'm going to choose protein. We hear a lot about diets, low carb, low fat, keto, paleo, yada, yada, yada. Here's what it really comes down to. This is the secret. It is all about calories in and calories out. When they study the effects of low carb, low fat diets on weight loss, and they compare them head to head, when they compare a keto diet to a vegetarian diet, a paleo diet to a vegan diet, when they compare all of these diets head to head, intermittent fasting versus eating all day, what they find is that it's all about calorie restriction. So if you're low carb, you are cutting out carbohydrates. You're immediately cutting out calories, okay? You're not eating the bread in the bread basket. Boom, those calories are cut out. You're eating less processed food, so you're eating more whole foods. So that means your body's absorbing less calories. So it has to do with this calorie balance, and it has to do with what the calories are that you're consuming, okay? So really, when it comes to these fad diets, it's about what works for you. Okay? Unfortunately, 95% of people who go on diets regain the weight 3 years later. A good proportion of them, like 70% of people who go on diets, lose weight, but 95% of them gain it back within 3 years. And why is that? Because when they go on the diet, the first diet that they chose, it's very restrictive. They're able to adhere to it for the amount of time it takes to lose the weight. But then once they've lost the weight, they find the diet very restrictive. They can't adhere to it, and they go back to eating the way that they ate before the diet. And so they end up gaining all the weight back. So for example, somebody who cuts out carbohydrates. Yes, you could probably eat no carbohydrates for 3 months. But then after the 3 months, you're going to go to a party and there's going to be some kind of pastry or crackers and hummus or something, and you're going to eat it, and then you're going to fall off the wagon and you're going to go back to eating the way that you did, and boom, you gain the weight back. So that's why I like this mentality or this way of looking at food where if you just think of whole foods first, this isn't restricting food. This isn't cutting out whole macronutrient groups. It's just making better decisions when you are eating.